What's going on, everybody? It is Coach Greg Adams back in here with another YouTube live stream. Shout out to the Coach Gang for being in here, being involved, and being active on this YouTube channel. And welcome to Monday. This is still Monday night Crimson Capsules. Shout out to you, man. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I am back on the YouTube airwaves. I was on earlier, as you guys know, on the Free Agent Lifestyle channel, but now we're here, all right, to dispense some very, very important information to you, gentlemen, related to relationships, marriage, and divorce. This is what we talk about here, all right? Every time people come here, oh, why you keep talking about this? Jeez Louise, all right, because there's hundreds of new men. Every time you come to my channel, the number goes up, all right? And these individuals are always looking for this vital information. So I appreciate you guys coming here, all right? Tom Leykis talked about the same thing for like 30 years, all right? This is what we do, all right? Listen, man, today we're talking about the predictable stages of marriage and divorce. The predictable stages of marriage and divorce, and we're going to talk about it in a chart that I created called the Marriage Wheel. Now, if you haven't seen some of my previous videos on the Marriage Wheel or any other artist renditions about the Marriage Wheel, go back and check. I left some in the links in the description box below, which is completely full of a bunch of other links. But go ahead and check for the Marriage Wheel video, the original video, other videos, updates that I talked about the marriage wheel and relationships. And here's the reality of this. People will go through marriage and people will go through divorce. I often tell you through the three tenets of the free agent lifestyle, no marriage, no long-term relationships, and no cohabitation. I wrote an entire book about it. Very simple manual for men to enjoy peace, quiet, and freedom will ultimately lead you to prosperity in a level where you can handle it. So this is what we're going to talk about today. Now, what I have to do before we do the super chats and acknowledge the gentleman that came in early and contributed to the show to let these shows continue to go on, is first understand this. I am not a lawyer. I am not here dispensing legal advice. I am here giving you information on a free airwave where you guys can choose to contribute by your view, or you can hit the like button and view, or you can super chat or live chat, hit the like button and view. It is your personal choice. So I'm not here giving you legal advice. If you are looking for advice about marriage and or divorce, I have a free free ebook that I put out on my website, gregadams1.com. It is 52 things that all men should consider before getting legally married in the United States. Now, what you have to understand is when it comes to marriage and divorce, divorce is pretty complicated by your personal matters. And these are things that I can't iron out in one video. Okay, I really can't give you all of the advice about marriage and divorce in one video, although I'm going to give you some information that you probably haven't looked up or discussed yet. So if you need legal advice, I will not serve as your attorney anywhere in the United States. I'm not going to serve as your attorney. Don't come and bring me to court. Don't ask me to serve someone on your behalf. Don't ask me to testify. Okay, I don't practice law. Okay, what you can do is set up a coaching call on my Clarity and do not email me. Okay, I don't check my email that much because my inbox is flooded. All right, because I deal with this information head on, and it is very vital information. Many men, I don't care if you walk in any pill. I don't care if you're black pill, white pill, purple pill, pink pill. I draw a lot of men in because of this topic. Okay, and this topic isn't even related to any pill. This topic is relevant because men just don't have the information. They don't have the information going in. They don't have the information while they're going through it. And what I'm telling you is don't email me. My email box is flooded on a daily basis, all right, of men who are looking for help. I have messages that says, help, urgent. I'm getting divorced right now in the process. I'm going to court tomorrow. I can't help you, okay? I can't help you. I can just give you some basic information on what to look out for, but I can't help you, okay? Nor will I help you at all, okay? Because here's the deal. I'm not a hotline. People call me. They set up coaching calls like, okay, I want to talk to him in an hour. I want to email him and then get a response in a day. It's not going to happen. Okay. It's not going to happen. My inbox is flooded because here's the deal. you can consult an attorney in your jurisdiction, and it's going to cost you between $500 and $800 an hour, maybe $1,000 if you live in a major city. $500 to $800 an hour. Okay, attorneys don't work for free. I don't care if he's an MGTOW attorney, if he's a red pill attorney. Men don't work for free in this country. Okay, and neither do I. So you can set up a coaching call, all right, and you can pay X amount of dollars. It's probably going to be in a range of $150 to $200 for that hour phone call, maybe less. I'm not sure. I decreased the contact for 2021 because of what everybody's dealing with. I increased the coaching calls, okay? But an attorney is going to charge you $500 to $800 an hour and a $5,000 to $10,000 retainer. Okay. And so when the men want me to be a hotline and get to your information and try to figure out for you, I'm not going to do it as long as the attorneys are getting thousands of dollars. I can't do it for free. I wish I could help 50 men per day for free, but it's just not in my ability. Okay. I'm just one individual here. So an attorney can give you the specific information about your specific case, but it's going to cost you. I've sat in attorney offices, and when the attorney asked me for $5,000 retainer fee, and I said, and I pulled out my pockets like this, and you saw the white ends of my pocket, I pulled them out like that. Guess what he said? He said, this meeting is over. He said this meeting is over. He didn't care what my situation was. He didn't care about people losing custody. He didn't care about any of that. He said, you got a $5,000 retainer? I said, nope. He said, well, you're dismissed. And he called his secretary. He buzzed his secretary like this. Come get this Negro out of my office. Okay. So I'm not a hotline. I'm not a free advice place. I'm not going to go back and forth and ask you about details about your case via email. I'm not going to do it. There's one way to do it. If you have a specific question for me, the cheapest way to do it is set up a coaching call. Legitimately, the links are in the description box below. If you don't want to set up a coaching call, fine with me. You're going to be on your own. Okay. You're going to be on your own in this situation. And I advise men, do not go into this situation on your own. Do not go into this situation on your own. You're going to get your clock clean. If you want to get free YouTube advice and take it in that courtroom, you're going to get divorce great to kingdom come. Don't listen to these guys. No, man, just listen to my channel and I'll tell you how to avoid. I'm going to tell you, you're going to get your clock clean because I've been in many courtrooms and I'm going to tell you, when the guys go in there representing themselves and they have a phrase in legalese that says a guy that serves his own client as his own client is a fool. Right. What is it? Whatever it is. But a fool represents himself. You know what I'm talking about. Off the top of my head, you're going to get your clock cleaned. I've seen dudes in there try to go against attorneys, clock cleaned. So for you guys that think you're going to get through this life for free, listening to YouTubers, all right, you got another thing coming to you. But listen, do what you want, okay? I'm over here. I'm a public speaker. I've written 3 books. I've given you guys plenty of videos, and you guys can go from there. Okay, you guys can go from there. You guys can have it on your own. But anyway, let me hit up the super chats. Because guys, man, I love these guys, man. And listen, don't be ashamed that you're going through a marriage or divorce. A lot of men here on our platforms, you're gonna hold masculine frame. You're gonna hold masculine frame in the courtroom. All right, off of free YouTuber legal advice. Okay. Good luck. And listen, don't be ashamed. If you've been through a marriage or been through a divorce or you're thinking about marriage and trying to avoid divorce, don't be ashamed. A lot of men here have done that. Okay. There's a lot of incels and virgins here as well. Okay. These men claim to be, like they claim to be the gods of the manosphere here. Always the incels, the virgins, the men who don't show their face. They're supposed to be they're supposed to be the real men in the manosphere. Oh my God. You can't make this stuff up, as they say. But men who put themselves out there, men who show everything. Oh, no. So anyway, look, we got almost 1,000 people here. Let's do the super chats. Let's get into the show. We're going to get into the show and this is going to be hard hitting information, man. This is going to be information that I'm giving you thousands of dollars of legal information here, but I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm giving you information that most men do not know. Okay. My man, we're going to call you IQ Ball Samara. Thank you for becoming a member. Warhammer, gents, once you get a taste of the free agent lifestyle, your old life will be done for, and invest in y'all's bodies. Free agent for life. Shout out to you. Appreciate you, man. Zoroaster says, Coach, I always have to contribute on the marriage wheel video. He says, having lived it play by play, I can attest that it is 100% facts. Bait and switch, complete with the monkey branch and a I'm not happy. Oh, yeah, baby. You know that's coming, man. The I'm not happy. That is the setup for you to get divorced. Great to kingdom come. Great, as we call it here. Let's see here. Charles D. Curry. Appreciate you for your super chat. He said, Shout out to Nobody. He says, Coach, what is your favorite cigar? Free agent for life. Is it Skull? Padron is my favorite cigar. They have a great cigar, 1964 anniversary cigar right now that I'm smoking on. They're small. So you can get through them in less than an hour, maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes smoke. Very good cigar. All right. I bought an entire box of those. Great cigar. All right. Zoroaster says you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of reality. Class is in session. All right. Appreciate you, man. Ricky Webster came in. He says, keep saving lives, Coach, mind, souls, and finances. French toast props due. All right. Shout out to you, Ricky. I appreciate your support once again. Jam says, just paying my tuition, Coach. Appreciate y'all for coming back. Pedro Vergis says, good afternoon, sir. Still waiting for my divorce to finalize. This is Chinese torture. All right. Similar from the Chinese virus, but this is Chinese water torture. And he says, you are the one keeping me sane, staying always positive. Thank you, man. That's what you have to do. Definitely. Oh, here we go. The lead attorney says clock clean. Yes, CGA is laying down facts. Clock cleaned. I saw, man, do not go in the courtroom by yourself. Listening to some YouTuber. I mean, just go by yourself. Woo. I'm going to tell you, you're going to get. Shout out to my man, Cali Papa Chunks. He says, if you're getting divorced, fellas, you need support. Come to the coach and the coach gang for support, but get a second job, pay those attorney fees, and fight, especially if you have kids. We're here for you, brothers. All right. Appreciate you. This is information. Guys, this is information that not many men before you received. All right. DJ Bond says, I'll say it again. This is why I continue to listen to Coach more than anybody else in the so-called manosphere. He says, keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate that. Thanks for the support. And yes, the so-called manosphere. I'm disappointed in the manosphere, really. But we'll bounce back, hopefully. So, as soon as the super chat's coming in, we got a lot of pocket watchers. Now everybody's got to make a video on the next man. And then the next man making a video on the next man. But it is what it is, all right? People will distinguish themselves. People will stay behind closed doors and screens and whatever. But let's get into the show. Let me do this. This is the lowdown on marriage and divorce. Most men will ignore it. I myself was married. I'll never do it again. Just so you know, going into it, I'll never do it again, knowing what I know. Now, fortunate, I got out pretty unscathed. All right. I got out. It was a little bit difficult for me. It was a difficult long term, but I think the great benefit of it was my ex-wife was dragging me so much in the divorce court that I actually learned. I'm a great learner. I will learn and apply, and you keep exposing me to situations, I'm going to eventually take advantage of you. Okay, because I'm a chess player. That's how we do around here. Let's see here. So let me give you a situation here. This is the marriage wheel. This is the complete marriage wheel. Okay, this is the complete marriage wheel, but we're going to break it down per section. Okay, we're going to break it down per section. So as we go along, okay, what I want to understand is this. This is basically a graph. It is not a scientific graph. This is a graph of people who get married, who get divorced, and people who stay married. And so when I'm talking about this, I'll say these stages of the marriage wheel right here, these stages, all marriages are going to go through. Every single one of these marriages, you're going to go through these stages. No one's going to skip a stage. Every stage is kind of patterned out based on the, mating strategy. And it is what it is. You just gotta have to go through through the stages. Now, when you get through these stages, depending on where you are, how much value and authority you have, is gonna dictate how you get through out of the marriage. Okay, so now let's go through the marriage statistics here. If we say 50%, let's just say 50% of marriages end in divorce, and this is what this graph is going to represent. We're going to go through and say, what do the other marriages look like? Because people are going to assume that 50% of marriages end in divorce, and then by virtue of that, the rest of the other marriages are fine. They're successful. And so I wrote this in the book, Free Agent Lifestyle. I said, that's not true, because quite a few people stay in their marriages for other reason other than love. So in the light blue here, the Carolina blue, it says these people end up in divorces, 50%. So that side on the right side, those people end in divorce. Now, why do other people stay? They may want a divorce, but they're in the red. You see, many people stay for children. I want to stay for my kids. I don't want to leave for my kids. I don't want to break up my family, et cetera, et cetera. Then if you go along, some people fear divorce. Some people fear divorce. Oh, man, I don't want to go through the system. The woman might fear divorce. I just don't want to deal with this divorce situation. Some people stay because, all right, we've been married already for 15 or 20 years. Why divorce now? It's not because they're in love. It's because of time invested. The next reason why, religion, in the light blue again. Oh, our religion doesn't look great upon marriage and divorce, so we're going to stay together. All right, you might be Catholic. You might be whatever religion. We can't get divorced. It's not looked upon. All right, what about family pressure? In the orange there, oh, our family's telling us to stay together and work it out. Do not get divorced. No one in our family has ever got divorced. And so instead of leaving a situation, you rather stick it out. What about this? Money. Oh, divorce and marriage. Oh, it costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to get divorced. I told you the story about the attorney that says, do you have a $5,000 retainer? And I was like, nope. And he's like, get out my office. Okay, it costs a lot of money, and it is very time consuming. How about this? Age. Well, I'm already 45, 55, 65, 70. Why get divorced now? Why get divorced now? I'm not going to find anybody in love. Let's just live separately. I know a very wealthy couple that does that. They got divorced. They still live together. They still live in $1 million mansion. All right. When they go out in functions, they look like the married couple, but they're divorced. Okay. And they say, you know what? Forget about it. All right. We're already old. I'm not trying to get any other woman or a man. Let's just stay together. What about false hope? Oh, the marriage counselor told us we'll work it out. And so you're in marriage counseling for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. All right. You're just delaying the inevitable. What about this? Low self-worth. Somebody's a busted Pillsbury biscuit can. Why am I going to get divorced? I might not be happy, but I know I'm not going to go out there and get anything. So you have low self-worth of yourself. And then that last little sliver right there, that little one, those are the happily married people. I always say right around that, 5 to 10% they're just ecstatic about being married. Everybody else, they're staying for some other reason. Now, let's get into this. Let's give you some statistics that I wrote here in the Free Agent Lifestyle book. Consider these statistics. Women file for divorce more than 80% of the time. Women get custody of a couple's children 83% of the time. Fathers with with visitation or no custody are often alienated from the child. The best case scenario for custody is usually 50-50. Most fathers are lucky to get 50-50. Very little fathers get full custody in a contested divorce. Best case custody scenario for women is 100% custody. Okay, those are usually unchallenged divorces in custody battles. The average length of a marriage for couple in their 20s, 8 years. 8 years. So you might be married or considering marriage. You probably have a 50-50 or 60-40 chance that you'll make it to year 9. Year 9. 70 to 80% of women who have children experience postpartum depression. We're not going to talk about that today, but it could be a reason why you get to one of your stages. Okay. 20 to 30% of women of marriages are considered sexless marriages. Okay, sexless marriages. We just talked about this graph here. All right. And many of these marriages that remain, that don't go through the divorce laws, they are sexless marriages. Many of these that stay are sexless marriages. Okay. So let's get down to some information here. Okay. Pull this up right here. This is vital information. No-fault divorce is a fairly new idea. I wrote extensively about the new no-fault divorce here in De-Evolution. Okay. No-fault divorce came around in the 1970s as a way for women to leave marriages that were no longer benefiting her. Before women were able to file for divorce, what would typically happen is, how come I took that screen down? Okay. I deleted something that I wanted to read. But before women were able to get divorced, they had to prove that there was a reason why. There was an affair. The man was impotent. The man was abusive. Okay, there were a whole bunch of reasons where women had to prove why they were requesting the court to divorce. Now, if she couldn't prove it, most of the time the court would not grant her divorce, and therefore the woman would be forced back into her abusive relationship, her relationship that has an affair. So she might be able to say you had an affair, but if she couldn't prove it, she would go to the court and the husband would just show up and say, nope, I'm not doing that. And then the judge said, well, I can't grant you your divorce. Well, somewhere in the 1970s, the United States, most states came up with the no-fault divorce, and the states in the dark blue are the no-fault solo-only grounds. All you have to do is say irreconcilable differences, or we can't meet, there's no meeting of the mind. I request a divorce. If he doesn't file a response, then the divorce is granted. If he files a response, then we have a hearing and then we have a trial. If you guys can't negotiate the breakup and all the split of the assets, et cetera, then it has to go through a hearing and a trial. The light blue states are the no-fault states, but they have additional grounds. So if you think you were going to get favor with the judge, which most judges don't want to hear a divorce anyway, they want you to negotiate it through mediation. Most people can't do that. So what happens is the light blue states are no fault, but you can say to the judge, this is why. You can ask why. But before 1970, this was very rare. No state had that. In order to get a divorce, the woman or the man would have to say, this person is having some dramatic shortcomings that is preventing this marriage to continue. Therefore, with no-fault divorce, let me show you something real quick. Look at what happened in no-fault divorce, okay? Look at this chart. This is 144 years of marriages and divorce. The blue line is the marriage. Obviously, over time from the 1800s all the way up, we have a dramatic increase in marriages, but also around 1970, look at the chart around 1970 at the yellow or orange line. The 1970s, when no-fault divorce was initiated, look how many marriages ended in divorce. You had an increase in marriage, but you also had an increase in divorce. So as you can see here, the effects of the no-fault divorce filing, the law allowed more women to get married and then therefore in marriages. Okay, some other things that you need to consider right here. Community property states. Community property states. One thing men don't understand, and this is why men always think they got divorce great to kingdom come. This is why you believe this, is because you don't know the law. Do you realize that when you go through a divorce, and this will matter, this could be from state to state, when you go through a divorce, there are 3 separate forms of payments that you're going to be obligated to if you were the breadwinner or you had the majority of the income. Most people think it's just one payment. Some people say, oh, I got divorced great and I lost half my stuff. Well, what you don't understand is if you live in a community property state, you're probably going to lose half of what you guys own together. Half of what you guys made in the marriage. So you're going to lose half of that. And you're going to also be probably responsible for a maintenance or spousal support payment, which is 2 different numbers. What you lose in community property is separate from what you lose in terms of spousal support. And if you have children, you also have a number for child support, which are 3 separate calculations. So when you go in there, most men don't understand that they're going to lose half of their money plus spousal support plus child support if you don't get 50-50 custody. In some states, if you get 50-50 custodies, there still could be a child support obligation. So this is why men come out like, oh my God, what happened? And therefore, if you are considering marriage, you must know, do you live in a community property state or do you live in what they call the equitable split state? Okay. For the people who say I never give solutions and give information, wow. All right. I've already given you years and years of information right here. All right. This is what they study in the law. If you're unable to decide, okay, in an equitable split state, this is basically what happens. Most U.S. states, if you can see here, the ones that are in the light green, these states are often states that are equitable distribution, meaning all the property acquired during the marriage is divided fairly at the judge's discretion. At the judge's discretion. So the judge could say, well, I believe this is fair. It could be 70%. Hulk Hogan and Linda Hogan's divorce resulted in him losing 70% of the community property or the equitable property that they owned, and 70% of all future money. Basically, if you summed it all up, he lost 70% in his divorce when you count spousal support, et cetera, et cetera. If you live in a community property state, the ones in the dark green, 9 states observe community property law where marital assets are split 50-50. All right, 50-50. So could you go to a non-community property state and get a favorable judgment where you don't get 50-50, right? You get to keep 70% of your stuff. It could happen if the judge see that it's fair. So people don't have to understand that this is going on here. Here's another thing. What is yours and what is hers? Most people don't get it. You think you're going to get into a marriage nowadays and build with a woman. You don't understand. What is yours and what's hers and what's the marital property? Well, right here, before marriage, you all have what you call separate property. If you own a house, a motorcycle, stocks and bonds, money, cash, and you have this before you get married, it is your property. It's yours. Now, the date you get married, that becomes community property. So this is where men get in trouble. They don't buy a house until you get married. You don't start buying cars, or you're buying cars for your wife, or you buy a car together when you're married, but it's her car. That is a community property. That is all together. Whatever money you make during that marriage, whatever things that you got in terms of investment, where your 401k grows, whatever. That's all marital property. That's all community property. So when you go in there and they start chopping it up and dividing it, guess what? And you put her on the deed, you put her on the title of the house, but she didn't put no down payment down. That house going bye-bye. Okay, you guys are going to split the proceeds of that sale, or she's going to get the house and you're going to make the mortgage payments, whatever the deal is. And if you live in an equitable split jurisdiction, you can literally, she can live in the house and you pay for the mortgage, depending on where your mortgage stands. Okay, now, after the marriage, on the date of separation, which is often a point of contention, by the way, you go into court, you get the date of separation. Well, she could say we separated on X day. You could say you separated on X day, and you're spending $500 to $800 an hour for an attorney to actually iron out when the date of separation is. Okay, when the date of separation is. So after the separation, what will happen is, if you earn money after that, if you start buying stuff after that, you buy a house, whatever, that's your property. Women can still fight you over that, though. She can say, hey, you used that money. That was money that you made 2 or 3 years ago while we were married, and you used that money after we filed for divorce to buy that. Has that happened? That has happened. That has happened. Women have gotten a hold of property that a man bought with money that was made during the marriage, and it was argued. Okay? Now, also with a separate property, student loan, gift by inheritance, sometimes trusts are separate properties. Okay? Trusts are separate properties, but now they're able to bust up trust. So everybody got what we got here. All right, everybody got what we got. So therefore, I'm going to take you through this marriage wheel right here. It says marriage cycle. I'm going to take you through the marriage wheel. I'm going to talk about what men don't know, what they don't see coming, what you should avoid, and you want to definitely avoid her looking like this. Okay, this is why women look like this when you marry them. Okay, because you don't know. You don't know what you're getting into. As soon as you sign on the dotted line, this is why they look like this. This is why they pursue marriage. She knows everything that we're going to talk about here. She knows everything that we just discussed here. You didn't know. You didn't know. Now, the average cost of a divorce could range from $20,000 to $100,000. This is why many men have said you don't know your wife until you've seen her in divorce court. You don't know who she is. We're going to talk about this point next. You don't know who she is. You guys will start fighting over peanuts at $500 an hour or $600 an hour each attorney, and she's fighting you over an old washing machine, okay? She's fighting you over the date of separation. She's fighting you over custody. These are the things that make men go crazy. All right, this is makes them go, I'm getting divorced, coach. Help me. Help me, coach. Email. Urgent. Help me. I'm in divorce court tomorrow. What am I going to do for you? Okay. I can give you a coaching call, and that's the best. I'm not about to go back and forth with every guy in this situation. So again, if you're just joining me, all right, I get massive amount. You guys would be scared to death if you opened up all of my social media, emails, the amount of men who are seeking help and the amount of men who think I should do it for free. Okay, men are not getting this information, and I'm giving you this information sometimes for free, but most time at a cost. And if you're going to battle these divorce laws and these divorce situations and you think you're going to do it for free, you're in for a rude awakening. You're in for a rude awakening. So as we do this, I'm going to bring this point down, and we're going to go into the super chats, and then we'll go into the point number 1, which is point number 2. But it is what it is. All right, let's see here. Where are we at? I need to scroll up here. Did I get Cali Papa Chunks? Even if I didn't, I'm going to get him again. All right, because he dropped 100. He says, if you're getting a divorce, fellas, you need support. Come to the coach and coach gang for support, but get a second job. All right, this is very important. Pay those attorney fees and fight, especially if you have kids. We're here for you, brothers. All right. Don't be ashamed if your marriage is ending, because they're they end the commonality, not the commonality. They end so commonly that it's not even a big deal anymore. Okay. It's a very common thing. Michael Tuffin says, I was once a simp, but now I don't F with hoes and I'm getting paid in full. Shout out to you. And that's what the free agent lifestyle is. We here designed to make that money. All right, that's been the principle of the free agent lifestyle for a long time, is to make that money. All right, don't be out here broke trying to hold the moral high ground. King of Spades says, big ups, coach gang, and the lead attorney. Shout out to you, brothers. Florida Henry, he who represents himself has a fool for a client. That is the phrase that I was talking about. Thank you, for Florida Henry. I'm sure the live chat said it. But he who represents himself has a fool for a client. There are some resources here where people are saying, oh, just take this paperwork. Just do this, do that. I'm just going to tell you something right now. If you think you're going to go paperwork for paperwork against attorneys, if she has an attorney and you don't, guys, watch the movie Divorce Corp, C-O-R-P. If you think you can outpaper an attorney that has paralegals, legal assistants, process servers near their office, right next door to their office, you think you're going to outpepper and paperwork the other side? You are out of your mind. You're out of your mind. And some men are saying, well, these attorneys don't represent us, Red Pill and MGTOW. No, they don't. They don't. They're tied into the Bar Association. They vote for these judges. These judges work on several cases that these divorce attorneys has. These judges know these attorneys by first and last name. Some of these judges get sent on vacation via the bar and via these attorneys. It is what it is. This is why I tell you to think before you go ahead. Think before you go ahead and get married. Think long and hard. BBM Young Diesel says, just hit 50K so far this year. 1099 contractor, unapologetically masculine. Shout out to you. Congratulations on hitting your 50K. What are we at? May? We're not even halfway through the year yet, and he's already halfway to 100K, and that's what it's about. Shout out to you. Rada, I don't know what it is, but I see you all the time. Submissive wife, happy life. Michael says, Coach, keep teaching the truth. More truth than the church. I share your videos with my 3 sons and daughter. I have learned so much from you. God bless. Thank you for that. Is it Rada? Raja. Shout out to you. Appreciate you for being here and sharing your information with your sons and daughters. All right. Your kids are, once they are in their teens, your sons especially need this information. They need some form of this information. Okay. Because this is real. These things destroy men's and women's lives, but men specifically here for this channel. Doxy Trash, what stage of the marriage will is when Drake steals your girl? Is it 3? He says, hit the evil laugh. They weren't even married yet. They weren't even married. They were engaged for 8 years or something like whatever that means. Vito Sanchez, shout out to you. Horace Garcia, I watched KS, Fresh and Fit, and Abbott and Preach. CGA are the only videos that I can actually finish. All others have common toxic women. All right, shout out to the coach. Game. Appreciate it. Sometimes, yeah, man, I can only listen to women talk like that for so much. I get it. I understand what you're talking about, man. Khalid, and thanks for putting me in a league class saying that you can finish my videos because we're teaching here. This is the biggest edutainment channel here on YouTube. Khalid Cooper, appreciate you again. Once again, let me do one more. Let me do two more. D-Nail in 2005. Hold on, he says KS earned $800 a month. His child support was almost $300. Okay. He says, gentlemen, child support is real. State of Oklahoma. Okay, I'm not gonna say that, but listen, yes. A lot of times men do put down that they earn less money, so they don't get great by child support. But even if he tried to say he earned that amount of money, he still got beat over the head with it. So even if he really did earn that amount of money and he still was obligated to pay $300 of his $900, that tells you something. That tells you something. You can put whatever you want on well, let me take that back. The lawyers are going to go crazy that are watching my video. You can't put whatever you want on a financial disclosure statement. You can't put whatever you want. You have to put what is the truth. All right. It is a legal document. However, men do probably lower their financial, lower the amount of that they earn, especially if they're self-employed, because then the woman would have to find out that you earn a lot less. So your obligation is less. So say, for instance, he said he made $900 a month, but he really made $4,000. Well, then $300 a month is not bad. He came out good. I don't tell you to do that, but it is what it is. Eugene Morgan says, Coach, you are the Alex Jones of the manosphere, hitting ninjas with hard-hitting, perfectly executed analysis that you won't get anywhere else, guaranteed. All right? When I come to these shows, I have prepared my notes. I have slides. I have evidence. I have sources, information. Not a lot of channels do. I'm not comparing myself, but not a lot of channels do. They just sit up here and talk. All right, I'm not talking out of my rear end. I'm giving you vital information. Let's do this. Hit the like button before we go. My allergies are a little crazy today. Point number one, let's get into the marriage wheel. If you're just joining me, we're talking about the marriage wheel. This is a chart that I created, basically dissecting every stage of every marriage, every legal marriage that all men are going to go through. All men or women are going to go through this. You're going to recognize some of the things that we talk about here. So before we do, I'm going to show you this. I've done this in several videos, the cost of a wife. If you marry, this is basically the most expensive form of relationship that you're going to get into, gentlemen. I don't care if you pay half the money. I don't care if you guys split the rent. This is the most expensive form of relationship that you're going to go through. There's pay for play. There's just girlfriend. There's long-term girlfriend. There's pumping. Bar none, wife is the most costly of them all. Not only that, your time investment is extremely high. Your time investment is extremely high. Not only that, your wife's depreciation is extremely high. You're going to get her at this level, but she's going to depreciate in attitude, looks, quality very rapidly. Okay, very rapidly. So here's phase one of the marriage wheel. Go ahead and get the likes up. Thank you, brothers. Phase one of the marriage wheel. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to fall in love, and you're going to say, Coach, not my wife, not my girl. Our love is like nobody else's love. You just don't understand love. You just mad you got divorced. Great, the kingdom come. All right, I'm not mad. I'm just trying to give you the information before you go in there. Our love is like no other love. We got to get married. Let's get married. And then you go ahead and marry her. You walk her down the aisle. Before you do that, you got to buy her an engagement ring. Okay, that's an investment. And then she's going to say, yes, I'll be your wife. Okay. Then you walk her down the aisle after you planned it, expensive extravaganza. All right. Or you can go in your backyard and jump the broom. It doesn't matter. Either way, it's the same. If you go down and you get a marriage certificate, it's the same. Then you're going to go what they call through a honeymoon period. You're going to go through a honeymoon period. And this period, gentlemen, will be where all of your feelings are just priority. Oh my God, she makes you feel good. You love to cuddle. All of your PDA is extremely high, public displays of affection. You kissing, hugging, you all into each other. And then since you're all into each other, you're going to believe that you're going to feel this way your entire marriage. Okay? You guys kiss each other on the lips. You French kiss. You guys even have tongue in your kiss in this stage of the marriage. As we go through the marriage, there'll be less tongue in that kiss. But you're going to feel really good about what's going on here. Okay? Now, in this particular phase, you must establish the rules of engagement. Many men miss out on this one because they allow the woman to dictate what she wants from this marriage. Okay? And she gets to stump her little feet anytime something is going right. Okay? She may not throw a fit, but she might say, well, I really don't like that. And you say, okay, baby. Okay, whatever you like. Because you've been trained to hear happy wife, happy life. But you'll start to, instead of dictating, you'll start to accept poor performance. And over time, she'll start performing a little bit less and less. And you'll be doing more and more because you're on this award system. Anytime you do good, oh, good husband. Anytime you do bad, well, I'm not happy. Okay? All right, it's not a full out I'm not happy, but it is a I'm not happy. At this stage, gentlemen, it is vital that you establish the rules or she will establish them for you. At that point, when she's establishing them for you, when you get to stage 3, you're going to realize you made a bad deal. Because all of her rules are going to be based on what you provide, not on who you are. So, as you start getting together, you're going to start looking at houses. And she's going to say, oh, I dreamed of this type of house. Or I dreamed of having this many kids. Or I want to do this. This is the type of marriage that I want. I want to be able to be a working woman. I want to go out there and work and earn. Or I want to be stay at home. She starts laying down these rules. And this is where you should say, well, this is what I expect of you. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. I expect intimacy this amount of time. If you fall short of intimacy, then I'm going to be upset with you. If say, for instance, you come in with an attitude. Every time I come home, you have an attitude. This needs to be corrected. I'm not going to come home to a woman that is competitive, combative, and has an attitude. Okay? I need time to decompress when I come home. It can be the same for her. I don't want to jump right through the door and you start getting on me or telling me what I need to do, et cetera, et cetera. When I come home from work, I want to decompress. Okay, this is what I would like to come home to. If you're preparing the dinners, I want to come home to the dinner when I get in the door. Or I want to come in with dinner an hour later, an hour and a half later. If you're working a second job or you're working something else, I need to come home, decompress. I'm going to go to the basement, do my YouTube channel, and then come back up, and then we can get into whatever we need to engage in. So you see what I'm talking about? So the rules of engagement must be established, or else she's going to dictate what happens here. So the engagement phase or the attachment phase is fairly simple. Most of us go through this without a problem. So when we talk about marriage and divorce, most people in this stage or who want to get to this stage, they don't understand people who talk about marriage and divorce. They're like, why is it so bad? Hey, I'm in this early stage right here. What is the big deal? Okay. Most people are going to be pretty successful at this point. You're going to believe that the woman that is in this stage is going to be the woman for the rest of your marriage. This is what you're going to believe. Well, I've been married for a year or two, almost 3 years, coach. What are you talking about? Everything's fine. We're planning everything out. She's nice and cordial. When she's agreeable, she's not yelling. We've never had an argument. I've heard a lot of people say, we haven't even had an argument yet. We go to each other's family. We're split. We're equal. We share the chores together. I cook on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. She cooks on Thursdays, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Everything's fine. Most marriages do not divorce at this stage. Most marriages do not divorce at this stage. Neither is there any infidelity. Neither is there any paternity fraud. Most of your marriages are going to appear very simple at this point. Okay, trust me on this one. You rarely hear of a marriage blowing up in the divorce court at this point. We were married for 18 months and et cetera, et cetera. You never hear it. Because why? I'm going to give you the reason why. There's nothing in it for her at this point. If she gets divorced, she's a loser on this one. She loses big time. Now she has to go back out there and find another Prince Charming that's going to slip a ring on her. So she's going to be very agreeable in this connection phase because she's getting reward after reward. Engagement ring, wedding photos, validation. She's probably in the best shape of her life. She's getting one after the other, and at that point, she's winning. All right. If she drops out now, she misses the next stage. All right. And I'm going to do a couple of super chats before we get to the next phase. The next phase. Let's see here. I'm going to go quick. Tarlo, bro, I can't believe that men need more statistics to show them why not to get married in these times. Believe it or not, men do. Men do. They want to, in their mind, they want to live the hope strategy. They don't really get why it is a very disadvantageous thing for them to do. Lex Coldstring says, after giving my ex-wife 3 children, she would then tell me I was just there to provide the seed and that she would be happy. She would be happy never to have sex again. Later found out she was asexual. Guys need to do some damn research. Okay. I've heard women do that. Hey, and that goes into stage number 3. That part is going to come up in stage number 3. After the seed, after we get to stage 2, after she gets the seed, then she can start being who she really wants. We're going to get to that point. My ex-girlfriend's Harry Gunt, he says, I'd give my money to a hobo before getting married and divorced. The hobo would appreciate it. The ex-wife hates you in the end. One of the things, you're right about that. One of the things that happens is why ex-wives hate you. Number one is because they're programmed to do that. All right. They're programmed to do that. They set up the divorce. They set up the breakup. They hand you the scissors, you cut, and then they go right into programming. The thing we have to understand about women, unfortunately, is that they're very programmed. They're programmed into womanism, and they will claim they're not a womanist, but they will have womanist talking points. They're programmable. They will claim to all need to get the poke. All right. They'll claim to, just stay home and don't, in distance. They'll fall for anything. They'll fall for anything because anytime their security is at risk, they'll comply. When their security is comfort, they're not going to comply. All right. We already know that's how they operate. Marco Antonio says all love is conditional love. Since I kicked her to the curb, he says life has been stress-free and been stacking Bitcoin. Shout out to the coach gang. Appreciate you, bro. That tends to happen. This is why the free agent lifestyle is what it is. The ultimate solution, the free agent lifestyle. Don Javier says, I live in Milwaukee. Definitely no marriage here. He says, I'll take being called controlling, arrogant, and insecure over being pegged in the divorce court. Salute, CGA. Divorce court is no joke, gentlemen. This is not something to play with. Most men come out of this in a very defeated mindset. It is probably one of the most toughest things that they have to go through. Don't underestimate it. And don't look at another man as divorced and, he just got divorced and that's why he believes this way. What that is another man coping, okay? He's coping because he's never going to get married, all right? He never had a marriage opportunity. This guy actually rolled the dice, and now he's been through the roughest thing he's ever been through, and he has to recover. He has to find a way to recover from it. Link says, hey, coach, is Mr. Esquire still around? I really used to enjoy the stories you guys share with us. Shout out to you. I'm sure he's still around. I haven't heard from him in a minute. Let me do 2 more. El General Del Air, forgive me, coach, for I almost simped. I almost fell for this IG Free Fire model. He says, hit the note button. Nope. Keep the red pills and knowledge coming. All right, shout out to you. Watch out for people you meet on IG. They are not always who they really appear to be. Cali Papa Chunks again. He says, women always change up after marriage. When it comes to the wedding, spare no expense. But after marriage, you better not try to do anything you enjoy or dare to try to start a business. They will pull the plug on a lot of the things that you want to do. It's just what it is. It is what it is. Okay. You guys got to understand that. There are not a lot of supportive wives out here. Not in today's landscape. They're not. So when you're having fun, they're programmed to believe that you're taking away fun from her. You're taking away time from her, especially if you work 40, 50 hours a week and then you come home and you want to do what you want to do. They're programmed to believe that you're not supposed to do that. Many marriages are simply a slave relationship, whether from the male or the female perspective. Let's get into point number 2. The investment stage. The investment stage. If you get past the honeymoon stage, let's go ahead and show you here. Okay. If you get past the honeymoon stage on all the lovey-dovey, the lovey-dovey is basically biology telling you to procreate. Okay. And then you are supposed to maintain some sort of relationship all throughout the children's young ages. So this feeling is going to get you to invest emotionally, financially, spiritually. Okay. You're going to invest in this stage. This is when the money comes into play. If you get married young, both of you guys get married young, well, you don't have a lot of the money to work with. And that's normal. If you both are broke, that is normal of most marriages. Sometimes the family chips in to help you. This is all what marriage is supposed to be. Any woman that wants you to have all the money up front and then she's going to get her, put her nose into it. This is deception at its height. He needs to make $200,000 a year. Hey, let me tell you something. Avoid that woman at all costs. That is not a woman that is in it for the right reasons. Okay. A marriage is something that you build together. So therefore, most of the time, the woman's responsibility was to the child and the home. The male's responsibility was to provide all the things for investment. We're changing that so much so now that we're in equal partnerships, which is nothing but women's language. All right. Don't believe in equal partnerships.